Hi, I'm Sarah Backhouse of We First. I'm here with Andy McKeon, Facebook Creative Shop Agency Lead. So tell me about your role at Facebook.
Basically, our team works with the world's biggest brands to, have best practices on Facebook and Instagram. So we kind of help them everything from getting the insights right before projects start to utilizing the right advertising units, then to trying to work out the best measurement kind of insights at the back end of the project to try and really get the plumbing right.
So what do you think some of the biggest trends and opportunities around purposeful brand storytelling might be right now?
I think the biggest thing we're seeing is obviously the shift to mobile, which everyone's talking about, but the shift to video and mobile. Like it's up over 500% in the last 2 years. People are now consuming a lot of video on these mobile devices. They can watch what they want when they want it. You don't have to run home to watch TV at 7:30 anymore. And a lot of people are kind of skipping that, and the shift from the device, TV, everyone's saying is the first screen, and mobile is the second screen. It's like, this is the most important screen in your life. And that feeling if you forget your phone.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through the day? I feel like I've lost my arm. That really, I think, signifies the importance of mobile in our lives.
Yeah, is it surprising to you that people watch kind of full-length movies now on their phones?
It's amazing, and I think too, with like Apple coming out with the bigger screens now, we're just going to see even more of that.
Right. So when a brand works with Facebook, how do you think through the strategies that they need to employ and tactics that they should use?
I think one of the big shifts we've seen is moving away from like social media into, I wish we could lose the word social and digital marketing. I feel like that kind of like siloed approach is not particularly smart. You should have the best, brightest brains working on where people are and where people's time is spent. And these days it's on digital devices and in places like Facebook and Instagram.
Any strategies that a brand can, are there any strategies that a brand could employ to have most effectiveness?
Well, I think what's changed now is you used to kind of guess who you were connecting with, but these days, say with Facebook, you actually know the authentic person. Like their kind of authentic details, their name. People offer up where they were born, where they live, everything else, all their kind of interests and life events and things like that. So if you can connect with the right person, you're not guessing the person. If you can connect with the right person at the right time, and you can kind of do that now, you can connect with them where they're spending time and then customize the content to meet that. You kind of get this amazing play where you get this huge, big global reach. We have over 1.32 billion people, but then you can actually hit that exact person. So we've never kind of seen the ability to be so big yet so kind of like targeted, and I think that's like super exciting for brands. And we're seeing if you get it right, then it can really make a massive difference to your business objectives versus social media metrics, which some companies are still kind of like stuck on, which seems a bit 2013 really.
Right. Now, is there a way, I like that, 2013, whew, imagine that. Now, is there a way in which Facebook can help a brand's employees get closer around a mission?
Well, interestingly, Facebook groups is something we're kind of looking at growing. So we use Facebook groups all the time. They're like private, no one necessarily knows they exist, and we have them for all our different teams at Facebook. So that's a really smart way, because you kind of think to have a central point where people can actually connect is quite difficult. It's hard to do it on email. Do you have some internal thing? Do you have a Salesforce document? Like, how do you do that? But for us to be able to have a place for a department where everyone can kind of like upload files and videos and documents and connect and like comment, share, all that kind of stuff. We've seen a lot of brands starting to kind of take advantage of that, and we think that's a big opportunity for enterprise.
Now, with so many brands doing great work, purposeful work, great sustainability initiatives, what's your advice on how they can stand out from the crowd?
That's a good question. I mean, an interesting one on Facebook recently was the Als Ice Bucket challenge, which
Yes.
kind of it blew up on Facebook, and I think it kind of helped to illustrate the video capabilities of Facebook. I think again it's creating content that people are interested in, which might sound easy, but a lot of brands potentially might be talking to themselves, but really put yourselves in the seat of the customer and actually create content that they want to engage with, content that they want to see and particularly share with you know, their kind of network and everything else. And if you can harness the pipes that exist, you can just see it take off, like the Ice Bucket Challenge.
And then finally, how would you describe the future of social storytelling and how brands can use Facebook to bring purpose to their brands?
Like a really great example is the way you can move down through the marketing funnel now. So you can start with like a big brand push. So say Nike, they did the fantastic campaign for the recent World Cup, Risk Everything. So they started off and they did these huge big brand messages, and then they kind of like moved people down the funnel, so they were able to connect with people and build clusters around people who had watched the videos and then retarget them. And then they could move them through and drive mobile app installs and then right down to like product features and actually selling soccer shoes. So I think that there's something for everyone in all parts of the funnel. We're not just kind of like top of the funnel or bottom of the funnel now. If you really think about the customer and what they're doing, and if you use the information you have in a smart way, you can really kind of shift them from like brand awareness right down to actually pulling the trigger and buying something.
Could you share one storytelling insight you've learned along the way, perhaps one success and one mistake that brands should be aware of?
Sure. I think a really interesting success, a recent one is Coke and the Super Bowl spot they did. They did this really beautiful, provocative ad that kind of highlighted a lot of people that normally don't get a lot of love and attention during the Super Bowl. And we were actually able to work with them. So the ad featured, it was America's Beautiful song, and it was sung in different languages, and it had everything from like Israeli Americans to Arab Americans to cowboys to surfers to a gay couple in the ad. And what we were able to do is we were actually able to kind of segment the ad and basically be able to create messages and then target them out to those relevant communities. So an Arab American could see a thumbnail with that and have a kind of relevant story to them, and then potentially, you know, an Israeli American could have a different message, cowboys, surfers, like the gay community, and we just saw it really take off because suddenly you have this corporation that's talking to you on a far more kind of like personal level, and that's been a great success that we're really proud of.
Any mistakes?
I think the mistake, I mean, the interesting thing is the newsfeed is where most people spend their time on Facebook, the vast majority of time. And if you think about that, it's quite interesting. Like there's 1.32 billion people on Facebook and no one has the same newsfeed. It's the most like personalized pretty much thing you have alongside nearly your fingerprint. No one has the same in the world. Like there's no two that are the same. So you have like your friends, your family, your sporting teams, the celebrities you might be following, all these different things, and if a brand's going to play in that space, it has to be at least as interesting. We actually have an algorithm that really rewards great creative work, and also posts from your family and friends that people like, and stuff, and it kind of gets, it deprecates things that aren't as popular, because there's so much content now, like there's so much stuff posted to Facebook, that of all the stories that are served, you don't see all of them, you just see the best ones, because we want to give you the richest experience. So if you're a brand and you're putting out kind of like spammy, lazy work, it's not going to do as well as if you create beautiful, creative content that people really, really appreciate and like to see.
That's great, and then conversely make your auntie have to lift her game and post
exactly,
more interesting
the weird
stuff.
Uncle, you know.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Thank you.